Alright, y'all. I hope there's not too much background noise. We're about to have some fun. It's been 67 years since I posted a video. I've been just being unproductive, eating junk food, watching TV, scratching my nuts, all that. Nothing productive at all. No reading, no working out, no healthy eating, no meditation, no conscious breathing, none of that shit. So I figured I'd just come up here and do a video and do something with my life for once. Anyway, this video is about love. Yeah, love, and specifically the main two types of love. Well, there's 1,000 different types of love, but I never really heard somebody explain it in this way. And I feel like if it was explained in this way, not a lot of people would be hurt as badly as they are when it comes to relationships and expectations. First of all, there's different levels of people's minds, different levels of people's consciousness, different levels of people's emotions, different levels of how people view the world. So some people view it on a completely earthly level, just earthly. Some people view it on a mental level, which is higher than earth, but it's not necessarily the highest. The overarching, most powerful, most important, most prominent aspect of life is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. The mental and the physical realm are under the spiritual. If there's something that exists in the spiritual plane, like it'll eventually exist in the mental and the physical. So obviously there's ways of physically loving somebody, mentally loving somebody, and spiritually loving somebody. If you're a spiritual person, you're going to love somebody on a higher level than they might be loving you or want to receive love from you. So obviously a lot of people can get hurt because of expectations not being met on their spiritual level or even on their mental level. Some people are on a physical level and then they're loving them on a mental level. They're a bump higher, but it's still not enough. And I wanted to explain the two different types of love and how they can intermingle with each other and how it's, physical and mental and spiritual. So the two types of love that I've learned about over time from my own personal experience, I didn't read this somewhere, I didn't study it, I didn't take it from somebody else, but it's consumptive love and productive love. Those are the two different kinds. I don't think when it comes to relationships, I don't think there's any other kind that I can think of besides consumptive and productive. Now, think about food. When we have food, we consume it. So, like this protein shake I had got from the 7-Eleven just a few minutes ago. When I looked at it, I saw 20 grams of protein. I saw that it had, probiotics, almond milk. I didn't really look on all the ingredients. I didn't study it head to toe. I just know that this is something that I wanted to consume. I didn't want to give anything to it. I wanted to take from it. I wanted this to do for me. That's consumptive love. Consumptive love is, what can I get from this person? What can this person do for me? This has 20 grams of protein. This is what it does for me. It has probiotics. This is what it does for me. I'm not going to drink soda because it doesn't do for me. It might taste better, but that's consumption. Some people want to consume healthy things. Some people want to consume unhealthy things because it makes them feel a certain way. Unhealthy foods make you feel good in the short term, make you feel terrible in the long term. Healthy foods don't taste as good or as stimulating, but in the long term, you feel a million times better. But it's all about how people feel. That's mostly what consumption is. It's about feeling. It's not about necessarily anything else but that. So consumptive love is, what can this person do for me? What can I get from this person? How can they make me feel? Productive love is the opposite. It's what can I give to this person? What can I do for this person? How can this person make me a better me by me giving more to them? It's much more selfless, much more self-surrendering, a lot less ego involved, a lot more giving involved. The problem is that, that's a higher realm of spirituality that's not necessarily on an earthly realm, and not a lot of people would even understand that kind of love or want that kind of love, because productive love isn't necessarily food that you consume. I would say productive love is like a flower or a tree. When you have a flower or a plant or anything, you want to see it grow, you want to see it thrive. So you're going to give it light, you're going to give it water, you're going to nourish it, you're going to put it in the right soil to give it that stability, to give it that security. You don't necessarily want anything from the flower but to see it at its best. You don't want anything from the tree but to just see it thrive and see it be its best. The problem with productive love is that in order for you to bring the best out of the flower or the tree, you have to see it entirely for what it is. You have to have it exposed. You have to pull it from the ground sometimes and see how far the roots have grown before you plug it back into better soil. You have to water it constantly. You have to put it in front of sunlight constantly. And that flower has to bloom. Oh, snap. A bug flew on me, my bad. That flower has to bloom based off of what you give it and based off of how much attention you're giving it and based off of all of that. And truth be told, that's inherently what we want anyway. We want productive love and we want to give productive love. Even as children, we want to learn and we want to talk and we want to share and we want to learn how to, experience things together. As children naturally are more spiritually inclined than people. We learn consumptive love and we learn how to be selfish and we learn how to be fearful and just try to extract and siphon energy from people. Now, back to consumptive love before I forget. You may not know anything about the food that you eat. You may not know where it come from, the name of the person who made it. I don't know, okay, let's just say it was a regular milkshake. I don't know the cow that the milk came from in order to make the milkshake. I don't care about that. I just want to consume. I don't care about the contents of it necessarily. I didn't read the back of this before I purchased it because it's about consumption. So when you're dealing with somebody who wants consumptive love and would rather consume you than have productive love where they give and sow into you, you have to accept the fact that they don't necessarily want to know everything about you. They don't want to see you at your rawest, and they don't want to see you at your most honest. They'd rather, be lied to about you. They'd rather your contents be hidden. They'd rather you sell them a dream versus tell them the truth, because you're a product to them. It's about what you want to consume. Have you ever found out how a certain food was made, or found out the truth about certain products and read the ingredients label a little bit too closely, and then you were like, nah, I don't ever want to eat this again? But before you realized the truth about it, it was fine. I don't give a fuck. I could eat this. It's delicious. It tastes good. But then when you realize Cinnamon Toast Crunch has trisodium phosphate, and you realize that the trisodium phosphate is only to make it look shinier, but it's actually not necessarily the best for your body, you take a step back. Sometimes you even have to forget about the contents themselves for you to be able to consume it. You don't want to know how your fast food spot makes their food. You don't want to know how it's processed. I know some people don't even want to think about that. You just want to eat it and go. That's the same thing as consumptive love. Your job when you're being consumed is to just be an attractive product. And of course, consumptive love can develop too over time. Like somebody may consume junk food realize that it's making them completely unhealthy. Some people may consume people that are nice in the short term, but in the long term, not good for them. And then they might go on to consume fruits and vegetables in the form of people, healthy people that are more boring, but they give them more peace and tranquility and equilibrium within themselves. But it's still consumptive. It's still, what can I get from this person? It's not, I want to sow into this person. So 3 main relationships that I know of are consumptive, where they're both consuming each other. They can't ever show them their true selves because they're only operating from the lower realm. Consumptive. They're just trying to get everything they can get from each other, not even thinking about what they can give to each other, not even thinking about what they can sow into each other. That's not important. Then the second level is productive, consumptive, where one is consumptive and trying to extract energy from that person, and the other person is trying to sow into that person and give them the best and make them better and teach them things. And it's a beautiful situation for a while, but the problem with people who have productive love is that when they're dealing with somebody who has consumptive love, it won't last long. They'll eventually value their energy, they'll value their time, they'll value their spirituality, and they'll expect the same productive love from them, which some people are not ready to do. Some people are not ready to sow into somebody else and water them and give them sunlight, even when they look their worst. Even when your petals are curled up, shriveled up, still putting them in front of sunlight, still giving them water, still giving them the best soil. That's not easy to do. That takes a lot of energy. That takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of effort. That takes a lot of commitment. And some people are afraid they might not get a return on their investment, even though it's not about a return on their investment. The only thing you want is to see the flower bloom. That's the return on your investment, is seeing the best version of that person. Productive consumptive is absolutely not good, because it ends up being toxic. People end up feeling like they're being cheated. I gave you all this, I did all this for you. But it's like, no, it's 2 different kinds of love. I want from you. You want to give to me. 2 totally different things. I want to let you know, productive love will bring you into a better version of yourself because of the strength and the patience and the wisdom you gain from giving so much of yourself and giving everything that you would want from them. That's a spiritual practice. That's self-surrender. That's completely void of your own desires. And I also wanted to say that consumptive love, some people would rather be consumed than sown into, because like I said, when it's consumptive love, you don't have to know everything about the person. You don't have to know the ingredients. You just have to consume it and then be done until you want to consume it again. And it's fun being consumed. You get a lot of attention, you get a lot of energy. And I'm not just talking about getting from somebody as far as bodily pleasure or money. I'm talking about just your presence in general. Sometimes people want their presence to be consumed versus it being sown into. This is an extremely long video. This is actually the longest video, and I'm almost done actually, so that's good. I feel like a lot of people just talk about a whole lot and nothing. They don't even know what they're talking about. They're just repeating shit that they read. This is something I'm actually experiencing in my own life, and it's very important to understand. I want to say 80% of people, which are, people who are less spiritually inclined, they only know consumptive love. They don't even think about productive love. So expecting that from somebody is complete disappointment waiting to happen. You're automatically going to be disappointed. They're not ready to give and sow into somebody with their presence. And like I said, they'd rather be consumed, because when you have productive love, you have to see somebody for who they truly are. That's not comfortable. That's complete vulnerability. That's complete surrender. Not a lot of people are ready for that. And forcing somebody into that is, in a way, abusive, because you're trying to make them more spiritual and more open than they actually are. And that's only going to lead to resistance in the end. It's possible to give somebody productive love and they enjoy it and appreciate it, but the problem comes in when you try to expose yourself to them. You try to show them your petals shriveled up. You try to hope that they sow into you and give you sunlight and nurture you in return. And if they're not willing to do that, or they're not ready for that type of level of love, you have to accept it. And if that means that you can't be with them, or they turn away, or they're not ready for you at the time, you have to accept it. You can't be resentful about it. You can't be sad about it. There's always going to be more people and more experiences for you to have anyway. So even if it takes time, it's going to happen at the right time. You have to trust that over anything else. The timing is divine, but you have to learn. Some people do not want to sow into you. Some people don't want to see every part of you. They just want to consume you. So the last level is productive, which is equal, mutual giving, complete surrender, self-surrender. But that's maybe like 2% of relationships out of the millions and billions of people that are in relationships. Where it's productive, where mutually, I know what I need from you. You know what you need from me. I'm going to give you everything you need in order to be the best you, better than you could do yourself, and vice versa. That is a very, very painful, very, very self-surrendering, ego death kind of love. Because you have to see them for who they are, not who you want them to be, not who you think they should be, but who they are. And then still love them in spite of that, which is not easy. But obviously, consumptive love will not help you transcend to a greater version of you. Even if you're consuming the most healthiest people, even if you're consuming all your veggies and everything like that in the form of people, you still won't be able to fully be the greatest you until you surrender yourself and give. The only point of existing on this planet is to be a gift. To be a gift. To be. Not to give gifts, but for yourself to be a gift. To your family, your friends, whoever you meet. Men and women. Each of us is a gift. It's not about doing anything or achieving anything. Of course, that can transpire. You can be things and do things and achieve things while you're giving your gift, but the point is that you can give a gift to somebody and they can refuse it. You can give a gift and they can say, nah, I don't want that gift. And you have to be willing to accept when your gift is being refused. Because I tell you, probably 80% of people will refuse your gift. Especially if it's the rawest, realest, most authentic you, where you're showing your petals. If it's consumptive, that means that if you're giving a consumptive gift to the world, that means that you're not necessarily being your most authentic self. You're giving them what they want to see. You're telling them what they want to hear. And then they're choosing to eat it up. And that can, be good, and that's okay. Some people are not ready for that productive love, and that's okay. You have to accept that. You have to legitimately be 100% understanding of people's level of consciousness. Productive love is beautiful. And it's not likely that most people will ever see it in their lifetime, which is okay. But you, listener, you have to think about, what am I giving? What am I hoping to receive? And on the grand scheme of things, what do I truly expect from myself? Because at the end of the day, loving yourself isn't about consuming. Loving yourself isn't about consuming and getting more for yourself and trying to get more for yourself. That's not self-love. It's an aspect of it, but it's not the whole deal. Self-love is when you sow into yourself. When you put yourself in front of sunlight, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Sunlight probably meaning knowledge and information and growth. When you put yourself in good soil, which means put yourself in the right surroundings, which means taking yourself out of the wrong surroundings. You know, certain plants can't grow in sand, and certain plants can't grow in mud. You need some solid soil, some real good soil. And then watering yourself, you know, which means if you do consume, which you have to consume, when you do consume, it's water, it's something that's pure, it's something that's going to make you healthier, make you a better version of you. And it's all metaphorical and it's all analogous, but I think y'all get the point. I still wonder, I think the biggest thing that I wanted to sum it up on is people can only love on the level that they are spiritually inclined to, mentally inclined to, emotionally inclined to. You have to accept that sometimes your love will be refused. Sometimes the most truest, open, most vulnerable, most honest version of yourself is not what people want. And it's definitely not what people need. And it's definitely not going to be what you think it's going to be, because not everybody is prepared to sow into you. Some people don't even sow into themselves, so you can't expect somebody who doesn't even sow into themselves to sow into you. They just know how to consume. They've seen consumption all their life. They consume and would rather be consumed than fully seen, than their content's fully read. You know, and that's okay. You can't be resentful. You can't say there's no good people out here. This was mainly based off of a romantic relational love. It wasn't necessarily love with family and friends, but there's still a sense of consumption and productive love when it comes to that too. People who show off their physical appearance, money that they have, status that they have, they want to be consumed by people. They want that kind of love, which is, like I said, it could be fun, getting all that attention. But it's on a superficial level of attention. You're only getting attention for what you want to be seen. But productive love, you care about giving and seeing the best out of people. You care about seeing people for their potential. And it's a real problem when you expect other people to see you for your potential versus what they can get now. When you look at a can of soda, you don't care about its potential. You care about what it can do for you. You care about what you can get from it. And I guarantee y'all, if y'all knew how much sugar they put in there, if you knew the chemicals they put in there, if you dissected every part of it, you wouldn't want to consume it no more. And that's the thing about consumptive love. It can't really last and be what you want it to be. Even two people who it's consumptive, and they're both fruits and vegetable kind of people, where they're really healthy people and they're still not looking to give. They're still looking to be consumed for showing their healthiest and to get the most healthiest from somebody. They're still expecting healthiness from somebody. So it's still consumptive. Productive is when you see the worst from somebody and you still want to give them your best. But you cannot expect that same thing from other people. You have to let that go. Your gift will be refused sometimes. You will be overlooked. You will be ignored. That's okay. Keep being who you know you're supposed to be, and still interact with everybody who you have to interact with. If you know some people would rather be consumptive, give them something to consume. Not as far as money or physical anything, but just as far as your energy and your presence. That's enough. This is purely energetic too. I'm not talking about giving people money or nothing like that, or giving people physical bodily pleasures. I'm talking about some people would want to consume your energy. But if they knew everything about you or knew the truth about you, they may not want to consume it anymore, and that's okay. You have to accept that. So don't let them read the nutrition facts if they're that type of person. If they don't deserve to see you in full bloom and have you completely exposed, that's okay. That's a part of it. And for those of y'all who are ready for productive love, do not expect it from anybody else. Keep sowing into everybody you see, which is good. Keep giving the best, and keep letting people be teachers for you. Let people be teachers for you to show you where you fall short at with your own insecurities, with your own mental state. It's okay. Sometimes the only thing you could get from somebody is a lesson. And that's okay. Take that lesson, savor it, value it, be grateful for it, and share it like I'm doing now. This video was not supposed to be as long as it is. I'm at 26 minutes. I'm gonna end it off right here. Thank you so much. I love y'all. I'm grateful to y'all. More to come. Goodbye.